The 2025 NFL season hasn't even kicked off yet, but if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you should already be feeling a rush of optimism. And a lot of that excitement stems from one man, Vic Fangio. After taking over the reins of the defense in 2024, Fangio didn't just improve the unit, he transformed it. And what we saw last season wasn't just a step forward, it was a quantum leap. Fangio brought back a level of defensive dominance that Philly fans hadn't seen in years. It wasn't about flashy plays or big personalities. It was about fundamentally sound, calculated, and methodically destructive football. Let's start with the obvious. The Eagles were the #1 defense in the league in 2024, and it wasn't even close in many key categories. But if you're just looking at the box score stats, you're missing the full picture. What Fangio implemented wasn't just about making stops or racking up sacks. It was about dictating the game, confusing the best quarterbacks in the league, shutting down elite weapons, making the opposing offense play chess when they only came in ready for checkers. Look no further than what happened in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, one of the greatest duos the NFL has ever seen. And yet, they were completely disoriented. The Eagles' defense suffocated the Chiefs, forced Mahomes into 3 turnovers, and looked like they knew every play before the snap. So how does that level of performance even happen? According to Warren Sharp, one of the sharpest football minds in the business, the numbers from last season are mind-blowing when you break them down. We're talking about the fewest passing yards allowed in the entire NFL, under 3,000. A completion percentage of just a little over 62% against them, which was 6th best. Opposing quarterbacks posted a passer rating of only 82.5 on average, the 3rd lowest mark in the entire league. This defense wasn't just strong, it was surgical. It cut offenses down to size with precision. What makes all of this even more impressive is the financial context. In terms of spending, the Eagles' defense ranked near the bottom of the NFL. In 2024, they were 27th in defensive payroll. This season, 30th. So you mean to tell me one of the most dominant defenses in football was also one of the least expensive? That's not just great coaching. That's elite roster management. And that's a credit to Howie Roseman, who continues to find value up and down the draft board and knows when to let go of veterans at the right time. Sure, they lost over 4,000 defensive snaps this offseason with players like Darius Slay, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, and CJ Gardner-Johnson moving on. But what remains is a defense that still has depth, upside, and an identity. A defense that still has Vic Fangio. In fact, if you look at the shift in defensive metrics from 2023 to 2024, it's night and day. In 2023, the Eagles were 31st in red zone defense. In 2024, under Fangio, 5th in points allowed per drive. They went from 30th to 2nd. Punts per drive, 26th to 3rd. 3-and-out rate, they went from near the bottom, 29th, all the way to #1. You want to talk about game-changing. That's game-changing. And it all starts with the scheme. Fangio didn't come in and blitz the house on every play. That's not his style. Instead, he designed a system where the defense forces offenses to be efficient all the way down the field. No shortcuts, no easy explosives. He dares you to play mistake-free football for 75 yards. And very few teams can do that consistently. That's why the Eagles allowed the fewest points on early downs in the league. And that's why they led the NFL in pass defense success rate, holding opponents to just 38%. That's why they were first in yards per attempt allowed, just 6. And let's not forget, they did all this with rookies in the secondary. Keenan Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were both thrown into the fire. And not only did they hold their own, they balled out. And they're only going to get better. Now, sure, a lot of fans are looking at the losses this offseason and wondering if the defense can repeat what they did last year. And it's a fair concern. Losing veteran talent is always a challenge. But let's be clear about something. This team isn't built around 1 or 2 stars. It's built around a philosophy, a system, a defensive culture that doesn't depend on having 4 Pro Bowlers at every level. It depends on discipline, disguise, smart coverage, and relentless pressure from the front 4 without needing to get blitz. That's what Fangio brings. And the way he calls the game is unlike anything else you're seeing around the NFL right now. While most teams are loading up on cover 2 and mixing in man, Fangio zigs where others zag. The Eagles ran the lowest rate of cover 2 in the league last season, under 1%. They ran the highest rate of cover 6. They ran quarters, they ran cover 3, and they did it all from a too-high shell that forced quarterbacks to hesitate, to second guess, to hold onto the ball just long enough for the pressure to get home. It's not about sending 6 or 7 guys. It's about collapsing the pocket with 4 and letting your coverage suffocate the routes. On third downs, the results speak for themselves. In 2023, Philly was dead last in third down defense. Opponents converted over 42% of the time through the air. Last season, the Eagles were second in conversion rate, number 1 in success rate, third in EPA per play, and top 10 in every relevant category. Fangio didn't need to blitz. He sent extra rushes just 19% of the time on third down, 11% below the league average. That was second lowest in the NFL. Instead, he trusted his zones, his disguises, and his personnel. And it worked. You want a crazy stat? The Eagles played cover 6 on nearly a quarter of all third downs, the highest rate in the NFL by far. Most teams sit around 5%. Philly? 23.4%. And that wasn't all. They played the highest rate of quarters coverage on third down too, over 20%. They played the lowest rate of cover 2, 0 man. They didn't even bother with 2-man coverages. Fangio knows what works, and he sticks to it. It's not about being trendy. It's about being effective. And that's what separates good defensive coordinators from the elite. All of this came to a head on the biggest stage. That Super Bowl performance wasn't just a fluke. It was the culmination of a season's worth of dominance. They didn't blitz Mahomes. They didn't need to. They crushed the Chiefs' offensive line with 4-man rushes. They confused the route concepts. They baited Mahomes into mistakes. They came up with a strip sack, a red zone interception, and a pick 6. That's how you take down a dynasty. With smart, aggressive, calculated football. With Fangio's blueprint now. Let's talk about personnel because, yes, some familiar names are gone. But the cupboard is far from bare. Moro Ohomo is ready to take a step forward and could very well be better than Milton Williams ever was. Kaylee Ringo is developing into a legitimate option to replace Darius Slay. Nolan Smith has the speed and power to eventually fill the void left by Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. The Eagles aren't just reloading, they're evolving. And with the depth they've built through smart drafting, they're more than capable of holding the line while the next generation steps into bigger roles. One of the keys here is that the coaching staff on defense has stayed intact. While the offensive side saw some turnover, Kellen Moore heading to New Orleans, Doug Nussmeier going with him, the defense remains the same coordinator, the same position coaches, the same language, the same scheme. That continuity matters. It's one of the reasons this team should be considered a legitimate contender to not only repeat their defensive dominance, but to make another deep playoff run. And here's the bottom line. When the rest of the league zigs, Vic Fangio zags. That's the secret sauce. That's what gives this Eagles defense an edge every single week. It's not just about reacting. It's about dictating, forcing opponents to play your style, not theirs. When you do that consistently over the course of a full season, the results are what we saw in 2024. And if the trends hold, and there's every reason to believe they will, 2025 could be even better. The names might be different. The roster might shift. But the standard, that remains the same. Fangio isn't going anywhere, and neither is that elite defensive identity. If we're going to fully understand just how revolutionary Vic Fangio's system has been in Philadelphia, we need to dive even deeper into the philosophy that drives it. Because this isn't just about calling plays or aligning players in the right spots. It's about structure, discipline, deception, and execution at the highest level. Fangio's defense is built on patience and precision. It's not flashy, but it's deadly. It bends but rarely breaks. It gives the illusion of vulnerability while being structurally sound at its core. And that's what makes it so difficult to attack. Opposing quarterbacks think they see openings, but they're walking into traps. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling across the NFL as whispers of a stunning comeback begin to circulate. Mekhi Becton, the towering offensive tackle known for his imposing presence and raw talent, might be making a surprising return, and the Philadelphia Eagles could be at the center of this unexpected move. Sources close to the league suggest that the Eagles have quietly shown interest in bringing Becton back into the fold, igniting a buzz that has fans and analysts alike buzzing about what such a signing could mean for the team's offensive line and overall strategy. Becton's journey in the NFL has been anything but ordinary. Once heralded as one of the most promising linemen entering the league, his career faced significant hurdles due to injuries and inconsistencies that left many questioning if he could ever reach his full potential. Yet, the possibility of his return now hints at a fresh chapter, perhaps a redemption story that could revitalize both his career and the Eagles line, which has struggled with depth and protection issues in recent seasons. The Philadelphia Eagles, known for their bold and strategic roster moves, have remained tight-lipped on the matter, but insiders hint at ongoing discussions behind closed doors. The prospect of adding a player like Becton, who combines size, athleticism, and raw ability, could offer them a much-needed boost. If the deal materializes, it might catch many by surprise given the cautious approach the team has taken in recent drafts and free agency periods. While nothing is confirmed, the speculation itself has already stirred excitement among Eagles supporters. Becton's potential return could mean a more dominant running game and improved quarterback protection, aspects the team has struggled to balance. The NFL community is watching closely, wondering if this could be the breakout move that sets the Eagles apart in a fiercely competitive league. Of course, questions remain about Becton's health and ability to stay on the field, which would be critical factors in any deal. However, if the Eagles are indeed willing to roll the dice, it speaks volumes about their confidence in his potential and their desire to shake things up. As this rumor gains traction, it will be fascinating to see whether the Eagles take the leap and what ripple effects it might cause across the league. In the meantime, fans and pundits alike are left to speculate and dream about what a Mekhi Becton comeback could mean. Could this be the beginning of a remarkable turnaround for the player and the Eagles' offensive line? The buzz is growing, and the NFL offseason might just deliver one of the most surprising stories yet. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.